We're going to be talking about pattern interruption and releasing limiting beliefs holding you back from the perspective of really dissecting the belief systems and becoming unenmeshed from the patterns. So I will explain what all of this means. This is going to be practical and broken down for someone. If you're someone who wants to understand how to release patterns and limiting beliefs holding you back, this will really give you a new perspective about it. And if you implement it, it will definitely work. And I will also give you the practical step-by-step tool guide at the end of this video to where you are able to, do this in your real life. So stick around for that. If you don't know me already, my name is Grace Moralia. My hair is crazy. I specialize in trauma and subconscious healing. I help people heal and release core wounds, blocks, limiting beliefs, patterns that come from their past, whether that be childhood, toxic relationships, ways that they're feeling stuck, things that are keeping people away from the truth of their inner self and the truth of their inner voice. I guide people into the core of their beings to pattern interrupt, to heal, to release old energies and emotions that live beneath limiting beliefs and traumas and patterns that keep showing up in a cyclical nature in your life. This goes back to childhood, past lives, generational trauma. So if you know you have any of those, you want to unravel into the truth of who you are, you desire to connect to your highest reality, to your highest self, to your highest timeline, and to love yourself more deeply, then I have coaching programs available. You can book an introductory call below if you're interested in unraveling into your truth and to healing yourself. And I also do in-person retreats in Sedona, Arizona. So if this energy calls to you, if you resonate with my message, I encourage you to reach out. We'll have a no pressure chat to see if my services can be supportive for you. I have worked with over 3,500 people over the past 5 years in person and online, many people in person from all age ranges and walks of life. The modalities that I implement are things like very similar to hypnotherapy, parts work, coaching, readings, psychic guidance, intuitive guidance, self-love work, and parts work, and somatic therapy. So I implement all of these to really rewire your beliefs. And yeah, you can reach out if you're interested. Please like and subscribe and comment below if this is helpful for you. And we'll get into it. So I broke this down. So first I'll say a statement that came through to me today is that how much more free would this world be without the stories that we feel in our bodies? So imagine how much more free you would be if you allowed your stories to emerge and be purged from within your body. When you feel that you are, like, anything that you are believing is your story, right? So if you don't like your story, you have to be willing to look at and humble yourself, humble your ego into believing something new, right? Humbling and ego and healing, right? This all is hand in hand. Our ego is made up of our fears and belief systems. So that means that it is subject to changing as soon as we are willing to face what needs to be changed. Now, the ego holds on to fears and emotions. That's what our ego is made up of in programs. So we identify with these parts of ourselves that aren't actually our true selves, because our true selves lives beneath the stories, which I talk about this in all my videos. You can watch more videos about that specifically. But maybe I'll write a video, or I'll create a video about ego, like dissecting the ego. I'm gonna write that down. But so let's get into the processes. So basically, let's say you have a limiting belief that you're dealing with in your life. You want to catch it, you want to release it. The first step we need to do is obviously have awareness, but we need to create a pattern interruption. So what does a pattern interruption mean? A pattern interruption is when you notice yourself in real time stuck in a belief system that's holding you back. You can feel viscerally that belief systems are not you. You can feel also when belief systems are expansive or if they're contractive. When something doesn't feel like you, it's going to feel fearful. It's going to feel sticky. It's going to feel icky. It's going to feel contractive. So notice how a belief feels in your body. Beliefs create shame. They create grief. They create pain. And they make us feel like we're stuck like this, like sharp, abrasive. Now, this is when you know that it's deeper than just you. And I'm going to add that note in. It is linking to your generational wounding. When something feels sharp, it's not you. It's a part of your ego that you have inherited. And I freaking swear this. Okay, so we have to see what it is. We have to feel what it is. We have to give notice to it. Now, the issue is that we have this thing called enmeshment. And this is what I want to bring forth before we even get into the next part. Enmeshment is when we are so enmeshed with a belief system, it becomes our identity. We can't separate ourselves from the emotion and from the pattern. So I want you to notice if you believe that a belief system is truly you. Even if it feels bad, do you believe that this is an extension of you? Do you believe that this is your truth? When you give yourself this opportunity to look at things differently, that's when you're able to get beneath. This is when we're starting to create separation. Now, the primary reason in my work why I facilitate trauma healing and what we do on the calls is heal and focus on healing the emotion beneath the belief systems. Because when there's too much emotion connected to it or trauma connected to it, we cannot get out of enmeshment. It's very hard to get out of enmeshment. So truthfully, if you're really identifying with something that doesn't feel good to you or a belief system doesn't feel good to you, we need to get into the root and we need to feel the emotion underneath. We need to clear the emotional energy beneath. The deeper it is, the longer it takes typically, but the more open you are to seeing a new perspective and creating pattern interruption and giving yourself another opportunity to act in a different way, then the more fruit you will receive. So this is where we get into seeing yourself and introducing perspectives beyond the belief system. So when you study the root, you get the fruit. When we get into the root of these beliefs, the emotions beneath the beliefs, and we start working from the root, that's when you receive the fruit of change. That's when the whole tree of yourself changes. So again, the emotional wound beneath the belief is the key. You don't just have the belief. You don't just have the ego pain, the ego fear. You have the emotion. You have the pattern that's stuck in the body and then in the nervous system that needs to be broken free. So if you can identify what that is, if you can actually voice what that emotion is, right? If you can be like, oh, here's this belief system of scarcity. What's underneath the scarcity though? And you notice how that feels in your body and you can figure out where that is in your body, then you are able to start connecting to the feeling and can name it. And if you can name it, we'll have a real conversation. And I can help you name it if you're having a hard time figuring out exactly what is blocking you. A lot of the times with generational wounds and deep soul wounds, it just gets so like a jumbled that it's hard to figure out what is what. So I understand that. And so sometimes it really does take somebody who has a lot of experience in this to help you figure that out and move from that place of awareness. But once you get a hang of this stuff, you can facilitate it for yourself, which is a big part of why I do my coaching, because I'm teaching people tools to heal themselves and to love themselves, not just needing me consistently, right? You learn it over time and can use it for the rest of your life. So basically, we want to, once we get into that root, right, we figure out what that emotion is. We need to give ourselves the opportunity to study it like a doctor would. This is where I say, like, putting in the third person perspective. If we can start studying the why and being curious about the what and where, and like a doctor would diagnose you, you're diagnosing the fear, you're diagnosing the belief system. This helps it become impersonal and it gives you a chance to ask those deeper questions. So it helps you detach your identity from it, right? If you can detach your identity from it and see it as like a separate entity. I was saying this to one of my clients recently, and I love it. And it's basically like, if you can name the wound, like you can literally give it a name, give the belief a name. Like, what does it feel like? What does it feel like his name? Is it Jerry? Is it Cindy? Like, what is this pattern for you? This energy, what would you call it? Because it's not you, it's a part of you. So if you look at it as a part of you and start making it impersonal and working to heal the part of you, love the part of you, release the emotional energy of the part of you, you start coming into wholeness and back into balance with your true self. So if we can at least create this sense of detachment, we can ask ourselves, is there deeper clearing needed in order for this wound to be cleared? We want to ask ourselves questions like a doctor would. I just want you to take that perspective on. What is this? Where did it come from? Is this mine? Is this true? Does this feel old? Does this feel heavy? Is there a deeper clearing needed in order for this wound to be cleared? Can I clear it right now? Can I just let go of it now? Or is there deeper work to do? Because sometimes you can pattern interrupt and it doesn't have to be a big deal. You can just be like, all right, I'm done, right? Sometimes not possible. Sometimes you need to go into the deeper work. Sometimes we need to go into subconscious healing. That's where you just allow it to humble you. Allow it to humble you. Every human on this planet is hindered by their stories, whether they want to admit it or not. So if you're going to get all butthurt about the fact that your ego has fears and you don't like the ugly parts of yourself, well, nobody else does. But that's why they can't accept each other. Where does judgment come from? It comes from lack of acceptance of the self. If you accepted yourself fully, you wouldn't be judging those people. So the more that I, for example, allow myself to be humbled by the generational trauma that I face, that I'm willing to look at, the parts of myself that I'm not holding up boundaries, the parts of myself that I'm in fear, the parts of myself that I'm controlling others. I'm a Scorpio, right? Control. These things that are embedded in me from different dimensions, different lifetimes, different, realities and generations and all that stuff, then I can accept others more deeply and whatever their truth is and not have to create a fight out of it, but to really bring that unconditional love to them because I brought it to myself. That's the practice, and it's humbling, okay? So once we ask ourselves okay, what is this thing? Where is it coming from? Blah, blah. We're starting to unravel the wound. We're starting to really get to know it. What is a new decision that you could make that would bring more love to yourself and bring more wholeness into your higher self? What would your higher self, how would your higher self handle this wound? What would your higher self say to the wound or the pattern? What would your higher self do to support you? So there's 2 points I want to talk about this. We need to work our way into choosing a new pattern. The pattern is typically connected to your fears and your inner child and your soul and your body and your nervous system. So we need to teach ourselves that there's another way out, asking ourselves, what is a better way here? What would my soul say? What would my soul do? Even just asking ourselves these questions and giving ourselves another opportunity to act differently plants the seed for you to act differently. You can choose to move in a new direction from that awareness. Sometimes we need to be more compassionate with the wound and we need more time for it to unwind and we need more time just sitting in awareness with the wound. Sometimes we need to push ourselves over the edge and call ourselves out on our shit and be like, you know what? Nope. I'm not going to choose this anymore. I know how this makes me feel. But it all comes back to becoming unenmeshed, releasing enmeshment trauma with our fears and our belief systems. In an emotional perspective, in the emotional body, that's what's creating the thoughts. That's what's creating the loops. If there was no emotion connected to the belief system, if there was no more charge in the body, we wouldn't be stuck in it. So, again, clear the emotional charge underneath and study the root of it. Be curious about its unraveling, right? And it can help you become unenmeshed by understanding that the ugly parts of you come from your lineage and the collective. It's not just about you. So they do require loving care. They require time to process. They require time to be repaired, time to be released, all that. So we're moving towards the direction of wholeness by noticing where we're broken and fragmented. Your mindset and the space that you learn to create for your beliefs and wounds is everything because of how deeply embedded they are. The more lovingly aware you are and the more accepting you are of them, the quicker they can clear themselves out of your experience. You have to learn to detach and release enmeshment towards the wounds and patterns. By doing this, you open to the love of your higher self and soul, which then drops down into the body and reprograms your entire being. That's so dope. I can help you with all of this fairly quickly. If you're ready for a serious transformation, and you feel my energy and you're ready to go, let's go. I'd love to talk to you on the phone. I have to get going. I hope this video was helpful. I will keep talking about this till I die. Check out my other videos and I'll be creating more. Please let me know if this was helpful for you. I hope it was. Okay? All right, bye.